I checked into room 217 because it was the last room available. What I didn't know then was that available doesn't always mean empty. There's a reason why some places stay burned into your memory, not just as stories, but as scars on your soul. For me, it started with an email, a simple confirmation from the Bellvue Hotel. Your reservation for room 217 is confirmed, it read. If I had known what those numbers would come to mean, I would have thrown my phone out the window right there. The Bellvue isn't one of those crumbling, gothic monstrosities you see in horror movies. It's sleek, modern, and nestled in the heart of downtown. A 5-star establishment where every corner gleams with polished chrome and glass. But no matter how hard they try to scrub away its history, room 217 remains different. It began when I stepped inside. The key card clicked, the door opened, and immediately something fell off. Not wrong exactly, just off. Like walking into a room where someone has been watching you before you arrived. There were no cobwebs, no flickering lights, nothing cliché like that. Just this faint hum, barely audible, vibrating through the walls like the building itself was alive. I dropped my bag by the bed and noticed the first thing out of place. A single red rose lying on a nightstand. Fresh petals, dew still clinging to them. No note, no explanation. When I called the front desk, they swore they hadn't left it. Are you sure? I asked again. Yes, sir, the clerk replied. We don't do flowers unless requested. And yet, there it sat, as if waiting for me. That night, sleep came slow. Every creak of the floorboards outside sounded heavier than it should have, every shadow stretching longer across the ceiling. Around midnight, I heard it, a soft knock at the door. 3 taps, deliberate and unhurried. My pulse quickened. Who could possibly be knocking? When I opened the door, the hallway was empty. Not unusual, I told myself. People make mistakes all the time. Maybe someone got the wrong room. Except, there were no footsteps retreating down the hall. No elevator dinging. Nothing but silence pressing against my ears like wet cotton. Back inside, I locked the door and slid the security chain into place. Then I turned around and froze. The rose was gone. Now, here's the part where most people say, oh, maybe housekeeping took it. Logical, right? Except when I called again, they insisted no one had entered my room after check-in. And besides, who steals a single rose? That's when the dreams started. They weren't dreams, really. Not the kind you wake up from and forget. These were vivid, lucid nightmares, so real I could taste the metallic tang of fear in my throat. In each one, I found myself standing in front of a mirror, staring at my reflection. Except it wasn't me looking back. It was someone else entirely. A woman with hollow eyes and lips curled into a smile too wide for her face. She whispered words I couldn't understand, her voice echoing like wind chimes in a storm. The worst part, when I woke up, the sheets were damp, not from sweat, but from seawater. Salt crusted along the edges of the mattress, even though I was miles from the ocean. By morning, I decided enough was enough. I packed my things and headed straight for the lobby, ready to demand another room, or better yet, a refund. But as I passed the concierge desk, something stopped me cold. A photograph framed behind the counter caught my eye. It showed the hotel staff posing together, dated decades ago. At first glance, it seemed ordinary, until I spotted her, the woman from my dream. She stood near the back of the group, smiling that same unnerving grin. Her name tag read Evelyn Harper, scrawled in faded ink. My chest tightened. Before I could ask about her, the concierge interrupted. Checking out already? She asked cheerfully. No, I said, pointing to the photo. Who's that? Her expression shifted instantly. The smile faltered, replaced by something darker. Oh, she murmured. That's Evelyn. She used to work here. Tragic story, actually. Died in room 217. Every hair on my body stood on end. I wanted to leave, to run, but curiosity rooted me to the spot. What happened? I managed to ask. The concierge hesitated, glancing over her shoulder as if afraid someone might overhear. Officially? An accident. Unofficially. She leaned closer, lowering her voice. People say she made a deal. Something about trading her life for... well, let's just say she didn't leave quietly. A deal? With whom? Why? None of it made sense. Yet, deep down, I knew she was tied to whatever was happening to me. That night, I resolved to uncover the truth. Armed with my phone and shaking hands, I recorded everything. The whispers in the dark, the shadows moving where they shouldn't, the salt water pooling beneath my feet. All of it pointed to one conclusion. Evelyn Harper wasn't done with room 217. And somehow, neither was I. But the deeper I dug, the more questions arose. Why me? Why now? And most importantly, what happens when the guest becomes the host? The next morning, I woke to find my phone dead. Not low battery. Completely unresponsive, as if its circuits had been fried. Oddly enough, the charger beside the bed was missing too. A quick search revealed it wasn't in my bag or anywhere else in the room. It felt like the hotel itself didn't want me recording what was happening. I went downstairs to buy a new charger from the gift shop, but as soon as I stepped into the lobby, I noticed something strange. The framed photograph of the staff that had hung behind the concierge desk was gone. When I asked about it, the same woman who told me Evelyn's story gave me a tight-lipped smile and said she'd never seen such a photo. Are you sure? I pressed. You showed it to me yesterday. She shook her head firmly. Sir, we don't display old photographs here. We're a modern hotel. Her denial sent a chill crawling up my spine. Either she was lying, or the picture had never existed at all. But I knew what I'd seen. Or did I? Back in room 217, things only grew worse. Every time I tried to leave, something pulled me back. A misplaced shoe, a forgotten wallet, even a sudden migraine that left me nauseous and disoriented. Each incident seemed trivial on its own, but together they formed an invisible chain binding me to the room. And then there were the mirrors. They say mirrors reflect reality, but not in room 217. That afternoon, while brushing my teeth, I caught movement in the bathroom mirror over my shoulder. At first, I thought it was just a trick of the light, a shadow shifting across the wall. But when I turned around, nothing was there. Turning back to the mirror, I froze. Behind me stood Evelyn Harper, her hollow eyes locked onto mine. Her lips moved silently, forming words I couldn't hear. I stumbled backward, knocking over the wastebasket. By the time I looked again, she was gone. But the reflection of the bathroom remained different. The tiles were cracked, the paint peeling, the once pristine sink now rusted and stained. For a moment, I wasn't in the Bellvue Hotel anymore. I was somewhere else entirely. Somewhere cold and dark and suffocating. When I blinked, the illusion vanished. The bathroom returned to normal, pristine and untouched, except for one detail. Written in condensation on the mirror were 3 chilling words. Help me leave. That night, sleep became impossible. Every creak of the floorboards sounded like footsteps. Every whisper in the air carried Evelyn's voice. Desperate for answers, I decided to do what any rational person would never dare. I called the number listed under hotel manager on the Bellevue's website. To my surprise, someone answered immediately. Bellvue Hotel, came a clipped male voice. I need to speak to the manager, I said. It's urgent. There was a long pause before he replied. You're speaking to him. What seems to be the issue? I explained everything. The rose, the dreams, the mirrors, the photograph that no longer existed. He listened without interrupting, his breathing steady but oddly mechanical. When I finished, he sighed deeply. Mr. Carter, he began, using my last name without asking for it. Do you believe in debts? Obligations that transcend life and death. What are you talking about? I demanded. Room 217 is special, he continued cryptically. Evelyn Harper made a bargain many years ago. She thought she could escape her fate, but bargains have consequences. Now, she's trapped, and so are those who enter her domain. His words hit me like ice water. What kind of bargain? He hesitated. Some say she traded her soul to save someone she loved. Others claim she sought revenge against those who wronged her. Whatever the truth, she can't move on until the debt is paid. And how does this involve me? I asked, my voice trembling. That's the question, isn't it? He replied softly. Then, just before hanging up, he added, Be careful what you wish for, Mr. Carter. You might already be part of the deal. The line went dead. I stared at the phone, heart pounding. None of it made sense. Why me? Why now? Was I truly connected to Evelyn's curse? Or was this some elaborate hoax designed to drive me insane? As if in response, the lights flickered violently, plunging the room into darkness. Panic surged through me as I fumbled for my flashlight app. When the beam finally illuminated the space, I saw her standing by the window. Evelyn Harper, pale and translucent, her form shimmering like heat waves off asphalt. She wasn't smiling now. Instead, her face twisted with anguish, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Please," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Help me." Before I could react, she lunged, not at me, but toward the mirror on the far wall. Her body dissolved into the glass, vanishing as though swallowed whole. And yet, her presence lingered, heavier than ever. The air grew colder, denser, until it felt like drowning. In that moment, I realized two things. First, Evelyn wasn't the only spirit trapped in room 217. Second, she wasn't asking for help because she wanted freedom. She needed a replacement. Suddenly, the pieces clicked into place. The stolen charger, the missing photograph, the creeping sense of dread. They weren't random occurrences. They were tests, trials meant to wear me down, to break me. Evelyn needed someone else to take her place so she could finally leave. But why me? What had I done to deserve this? Then it hit me. The email confirming my reservation hadn't come from the Bellvue Hotel. It had come from an address I didn't recognize. Someone had booked me into room 217 deliberately. Someone who knew about Evelyn's curse. Someone who wanted me dead. I don't know how long I sat there, frozen in terror, staring at the mirror where Evelyn had disappeared. My mind raced, trying to piece together who could have done this to me, or why. But the more I thought about it, the less it made sense. Who would go through so much trouble just to trap me in a haunted hotel room? What could I possibly have done to deserve this? And then it came to me. Not what I'd done, but what I hadn't. Months earlier, I'd been offered a chance to help someone, a stranger on the verge of losing everything. A crowdfunding campaign for medical bills, shared by a mutual friend. I clicked away without donating, telling myself I couldn't afford it. Someone else will step up, I'd thought. Someone else always does. But maybe that wasn't true. Maybe no one else had stepped up. And now, here I was, facing the consequences of my indifference. The realization hit me like a freight train. This wasn't random. It wasn't coincidence. Evelyn's curse didn't just target anyone. It sought out those who owed something, to others, to themselves, to the universe itself. People with debts unpaid, kindnesses ungiven, chances missed. Like me. As if confirming my suspicions, the temperature in the room plummeted further. Frost crept along the edges of the mirror, spreading like veins across glass. In its center, Evelyn reappeared, her hollow eyes locked onto mine. Her lips moved, forming words I could finally understand. "You owe me." "No," I whispered, shaking my head. "I didn't do anything to you." Her expression softened, not with pity, but with sorrow. She reached out, her translucent hand pressing against the mirror as though begging me to take it. Behind her, shadows shifted, revealing countless faces peering out from the darkness. They were the others, the ones who had come before me, each drawn into room 217 under false pretenses, each chosen because of their own unresolved debts. "You can't escape," she murmured. "None of us can." Desperation overtook me. If Evelyn needed a replacement to leave, then I had to find another way. There had to be a loophole, some way to break the cycle. I scrambled for my phone, searching frantically for any information about the Bellvue Hotel or Evelyn Harper. That's when I found it. A single forum post buried deep in an internet rabbit hole. User: has anyone heard of room 217 at the Bellevue? Weird stuff happening there. Reply: be careful. Legend says the only way to free the spirits is to pay your debt. Literally, leave something behind that matters more than you think you can afford. Something that mattered more than I thought I could afford. My breath hitched as the meaning sank in. Money wasn't enough. It never had been. The debt wasn't financial. It was moral, emotional, existential. Without hesitation, I grabbed my wallet and pulled out every last dollar I had, cash, credit cards, even the emergency stash hidden in my suitcase lining. Then I added the watch my father gave me, the one thing I'd sworn I'd never part with. Trembling, I placed it all on the nightstand, along with a hastily scribbled note. "I'm sorry. Forgive me." For a moment, nothing happened. The room remained silent, the frost still clinging to the mirror. Then, Slowly, the air began to warm. The oppressive weight lifted, replaced by a strange sense of calm. Evelyn appeared one final time, her hollow eyes filling with tears, not of anger, but of gratitude. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice barely audible, and then she was gone. When I woke the next morning, sunlight streamed through the window. The mirror was clear, the rose nowhere to be found. Even the saltwater stains on the mattress had vanished, as if they'd never existed. I checked out immediately, avoiding the concierge's gaze as I handed over my keycard. Outside, the city buzzed with life, oblivious to what had transpired within those walls. I walked until my legs burned, putting distance between myself and the Bellevue. Yet even now, months later, I can't shake the feeling that I left something behind, something far greater than money or possessions. Because sometimes, paying your debt means losing a piece of yourself. And sometimes, surviving isn't about escaping the past. It's about making peace with it. Would you share this story? Would you warn others about room 217? Or would you keep it to yourself, hoping the curse stays buried until it finds its next guest? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, some debts are easier to ignore than to repay, but ignoring them comes with a price far greater than you might imagine. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the mirrors catch you watching.